year. We are on the 26th of Tebet. Naturally, we say Chaf Vav Tebet marks the Hilula of a great rabbi, Rabbi Mordechai Benggio Z'tl Livracha. He was a great Mora Tzedek. He was head of the Jewish court and the rabbi of Tangier, respectively, in Morocco for approximately 60 years. He was born in English year 1827 and passed away on the year 1917, so it was approximately 90 years at the time he passed away. Really great rabbi. Let's explore some of the highlights of the great rabbi's life. Now, he was born in 1827 in Tangier in Morocco. Very interesting enough, he, I think, came from great rabbinic heritage in of itself. His father's name was Rabbi Yosef Benggio. His father, happened to be a descendant, interestingly enough, of Rabbi Mordechai Benggio Harishon, a really great rabbi, and was appointed, let's say, Mora Tzedek of the city in of itself. Okay, so when he was young, he would learn under the auspices of his grandfather, really great rabbi, Rabbi Moshe Benggio. And as he would grow older, he would actually go on to become a great rabbi over there, and he would marry a woman of the name, become a Rabbanit, Sarah La'arido, very great family in of itself, and will become like the head of the yeshiva at his specific vicinity in of itself. He will head the local yeshiva at that stage in time. And then afterwards, I believe it happened to be after he received rabbinic ordination through Rabbi Yitzchak ben Walid, another great rabbi we have mentioned about on various occasions before. He happened to be the head of the Jewish court and the rabbi of the Jewish congregation in Tetuan, I think, for 40 years, and author also of the great book, the Vayama Yitzchak. He received ordination from them, and after his grandfather passed away, and I think also his father, there was a plague of the cholera plague at that point in time. I believe that actually broke out specifically in the epidemic inside that city. I think he would be elected that same year to serve as the chief, let's say, head judge and the rabbi of Tangier, a very, let's say, prominent position in of itself, bringing about like a lot of responsibility, but also once again, it's huge position. And there was many great rabbis at that point in time in Morocco, in Algeria. He was corresponding with at that stage in time, such as Rabbi, as we said before, Rabbi Yitzchak ben Walid, the great rabbi, also Rabbi Yosef ben Walid, and the great rabbi from that rabbinic family in of itself. He happened to be a famous halachic arbitrator and then a dyer. I think he had a prominent rabbinic role in Oran, in Algeria, especially during the late 19th century and early 20th century. He would also correspond with Rabbi Shmuel Nahon, another great rabbi, I think, for part of the court of Tetuan in of itself, respectively, a great Talmid Chacham, and also Rabbi Yosef Mashash, the famous rabbi we've spoken about before. We actually did a video on Chacham Yosef Mashash. He was a great poet, he was a historian, and he would take on head jobs in Meknes, especially also in Algeria and various other parts of Morocco, before being a Sephardi rabbi, a prominent one in Haifa, once he makes Aliyah. So then later on, it was reported over at one stage in time, he would host the famous philanthropist Moses Montefiore in his home while he happened to be visiting Morocco in of itself. He saw it's important to, let's say, make new schools in of itself inside the area to strengthen the Torah and to really bring about increased Jewish life in the various vicinity in of itself. I think he would, for the congregation, for the Torah community in of itself, he would open up schools and he would put some various different enactments, let's just say, inside the community to strengthen the community, or maybe make relevant, let's just say, happenings or let's say occurrences. He'd look at the wide picture of what the community will lead in of itself. It's actually interesting. I believe originally he would actually help in the foundation, it was reported over, of the school system of the Alliance Universal Israelite school, the college system at that point in time, as they call it, in Tangier in the year 1862. At that stage in time, I think he actually valued let's just say at that point in time, he wanted there to be obviously a strong Torah education in of itself, but he saw that at the initial stages an advantage of combining secular studies within regards to the Torah studies also. However, I believe at some stage in time there was issues. I think in 1887, if we reported over that, there wasn't so much religious studies in the school, so he would actually really, really complain against it and maybe protest it to some degree in of itself. There was correspondence, I think, with other rabbis in the community, and they actually, I think, ended up strengthening and bringing more religious studies in of itself. I think at that point, there's actually an article in the Hatzafira newspaper publication within regards to that. And this was in many countries also, maybe rabbis that weren't necessarily for the school system or wanted like there to be a stronger, let's just say, amount of religious studies incorporated into that school system wherever it was, respectively. And it's actually interesting. He would, as we said before, he was very, very well corresponded. I believe he would actually found in Tangier the Tree of Life Synagogue, the Etz Chaim Bet Knesset in of itself, which I think was active. I think he opened it in 1880. If I'm not mistaken, it would last for about 100 years or something, and later on it would become a museum. It was reported over. So I think it was established in 1880 till 1982. And 1994 will be some sort of museum also, which is interesting enough. I think there was a Torat V'Chaim in 1912 founded, if I'm not mistaken. Also, he would pass away on the 20th of January in the English year 1917, naturally the 26th of Kislev, and he was buried inside the burial plot of the Jewish community inside that city in of itself in Morocco, I believe it was reported over, and very, very much really was active in of itself. I think there was an institution for Jewish orphans in Tangier, which will later on be established in his name, and the synagogue was founded in his name after he passed away. It's actually interesting. I think two of his star students, two great students of his, it was reported over after he passed away, would become, let's say, have a prominent role in the city of Tangier in himself. Rabbi Yehuda ben Shimon, very interesting enough, he was excellent within regards to halacha, and Rabbi Yehuda Zankot, very much one of the great rabbis of that specific area in of itself. Various different Paskei Dins and Torah writings was actually formed, especially one was a Shut, Rabbi Mordechai Benggio. Very interesting enough. I think it actually came through the Machon Malkei Rabbanan in Ashdod in the year Tafshin Ein Chet. I think it was printed over. So he passed away. He was about 90 years of age in 1917 on the Chavav Kis Tebet. He was one of the great rabbis of Tangier in Jewish history, and he would have various different descendants, including, I believe, there was Rabbi Yoshua Benggio, interesting enough, who we have to mention about. I think we've mentioned him actually on various occasions before. Sorry, I don't know if he was actually a rabbi in himself, but Yoshua Benggio, I'm not too sure. He happened to be, I believe, a professor, not specifically a rabbi. He was, and I think he was born himself in the 5th of March in the year 1964. So he wasn't a rabbi, he is currently a professor. That's one of his descendants. If you happen to be related to any of these great rabbanim, please let me know. Please send me an email. We're exploring the history of the great Oriental rabbanim of yesteryear. Today we were talking about Rabbi Mordechai Benggio. If you feel anyone will be interested in listening to these videos, please share the videos to other people. We are a community here. We've covered many great chachamim, part of biography within regards to them. I would actually recommend any rabbi you are listening to who I'm speaking about, research much more about them. There's a lot of information you could potentially find and just see the greatness of these great rabbis. So wishing you all well. Take care and be well.